We live in a time of social change on a global scale. Whether black or white, LGBTQ plus or straight, conservative, liberal, or just about any other group, everybody's got a voice. Every group has a cause to fight for and another group to scapegoat as its oppressor. Well, almost every group. Often with their only voice being things like the so-called meninists that nobody takes seriously. Men are arguably the most vilified group in the world right now, especially if they are white, of a certain religious persuasion, and of a certain age. It is the in thing in 2021 to put the blame for all the world's systemic isms like racism and sexism on men, whether they deserve it or not. But the truth is, men are the victims of a systemic ism all their own. A type of systemic sexism against men that runs so deep into the societies of the world that neither the right nor left wings of those societies will acknowledge its existence, because to do so would destroy the narratives of both. On the one hand, that men's rights mean traditional family values. On the other, that men are evil, oppressive bastards. It is the same type of sexism that kept women out of the voting booths, out of combat positions in the military, and away from positions of power for so long. The type that exists because it challenges traditional gender roles. Anybody who's ever been divorced or tried to apply for Medicaid has experienced it, but it is most prevalent in the idea of male reproductive rights. Bringing up male reproductive rights to either a conservative or liberal audience is asking for trouble, no matter what country you're in. Both sides will interpret it to mean abortion rights. The conservative will launch into a diatribe about how fathers should have some say in the matter. Likewise, the liberal will yell at you that men have no right to legislate women's bodies. But I'm not talking about abortion at all here. The male reproductive rights I'm talking about, and the place where that deep-seated sexism against men lives, is another matter entirely. Right here, my friends, is where that ugly little ism makes its home. And make no mistake, it is systemic. 22 years ago, when I first checked into it, surrogacy and adoption were only available to single women and heterosexual couples. Gay couples and single men of any orientation were out of luck. Nowadays, the option is open to both groups, yet single men are still getting the short end of the stick both from the system and from society at large. For the sake of brevity, I'll leave links in the description rather than read some of the accounts I found from men who opted for these methods of starting a family. But I will tell you this, the system makes it a lot harder for single men than any other group. Few financial options are available to help fund it, and surrogacy and adoption agencies scrutinize single men more closely than any other group. As far as society goes, there is a stigma that keeps men from talking openly about it, even after the fact. And both the treatment by the system and the societal stigma come from the same source. The automatic and very sexist assumption that any man who wants to go it alone is one of these two buffoons. He's either unfit to be a competent parent because he's a man, or else he's a pedophile and possibly a sex trafficker to boot. Now, this is an issue that is obviously something I find important, and I think it deserves a full documentary that I unfortunately don't have either the time or the resources to devote to it. And I'm not here to tell any of you good people how you should feel about any of this. I'm just here informing you that it does exist and is very, very real. Now you know. Knowledge is power, and power can bring change. As always, if you like this video, please hit like. If you want notifications of more of my content, hit subscribe, and peace out.